I'm Kristin and this belatedly is the video for day number 179 of my Song a Day project. And the song that I'm doing is Always on My Mind, based on the version by the Pet Shop Boys. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as well as I should. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could. Little things I should have said and done, but I never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. If I made you feel second best, I'm so sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died, and give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died, and give me one more chance to keep you satisfied, satisfied. You were always on my mind. 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 Maybe I didn't treat you quite as well as I should. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could. Little things I should have said and done, but I never took the time. You were always on my mind. 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 That was my rendition of Always on My Mind, based on the remake by the Pet Shop Boys. And as you might know, that song was originally done by Willie Nelson, and I'm not particularly familiar with that version. I've probably heard it at some point. I probably looked into it after hearing the other version. But the Pet Shop Boys version is the one that I really like, and it's from the era of music that I like a lot of, like the 80s-ish era. And I actually discovered it on an episode of Cold Case. It was actually, I believe, the first run episode of Cold Case that I watched. As I've mentioned before, I'm like a Cold Case aficionado. The Cold Case, the fictional show, like 2004 to 2011, I think it ran. But I actually did not start watching from the very beginning, because initially I was like, well, if there's no hope, what's the point in watching it? But it was more about closure and stuff, and it told these interesting stories. And I often compare it to Without a Trace, and initially I thought I would like Without a Trace more, but I actually ended up liking Cold Case a lot better. But so I think my dad started watching it the first season, then my mom started watching it, and then I started watching it. And the first episode that I think I watched first run was, I think, season 3 premiere, an episode called Family, which actually the bad guy on it is the person who ended up being the bad guy on the most recent episode of Perception. Apparently he plays a bad guy a lot. But anyway, and I think he looks like my one uncle, but my parents don't see it. But anyway, regardless. In the first scene of the episode, that's one thing about Cold Case that I've said before, is that it often had really good music, like period-specific music to whenever it was supposed to take place. And so this episode was supposed to take place in I guess the late 80s, maybe like 87 or something. And it was one of those it was the story with this prom baby situation and stuff. And but at the prom at the beginning, the song that they're playing is Always on My Mind by Pet Shop Boys, and I liked it so much that I had to get their CD after that. And the thing about that song is one of the best parts about it is the driving dance beat. And obviously you can't capture that in an a cappella version, the do 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 maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should. And they say good, but I changed it to well because grammar. But anyway, I actually saw this article just a bit ago about rhyme perpetrations in songs. But some of the ones they picked out aren't the ones I necessarily would have said. Their number one worst perpetrator was her lips are devil red and her skin's the color mocha. She will wear you out, live in La Vida Loca. And I'm like, what's so wrong about that rhyme-wise or like line-wise? And they said that it didn't make sense or whatever, but mocha can be a color. That was the problem with it. But there were some there that were pretty bad, but I think they should have put that one that I mentioned in the previous video by Destiny's Child. If I surround myself with positive things, they should have put that in there. But anyway, there are a lot of stupid grammar things in songs. Even I can't believe they didn't include "You and me could write a better romance." And I have pointed out grammar issues with some of the songs I've done before, but this one was an easy little fix. So and it just seemed to make it flow more smoothly as a line. But anyway, so I did do that one minor alteration, and the song is very different without background music. I did put on the Pet Shop Boys voice. You could probably hear. That's like the only way I know how to sing it. And I wasn't quite sure how to end it because there's no music, and I decided not to listen to it to see how they ended it and sort of just do my own thing. And it seemed very short, so hopefully it wasn't too short. Because again, the music is a big part of it. And it's kind of funny that one of my favorite songs by the Pet Shop Boys is a song that they remade that was done by someone else. But the first song I knew by them that I always liked was Go West, which I found out in recent years they did with the Village People, which is interesting. Interesting and sort of random thing relating to the Pet Shop Boys is that I heard somewhere that the actor David Tennant, who was in the fourth Harry Potter movie as Barty Crouch Jr. and played one of the Doctor Who's in recent years, apparently chose his stage name because of the name of one of the Pet Shop Boys. One of the Pet Shop Boys is Neil Tennant. So it's kind of weird and interesting. And I don't know if that was like a SAG thing or something. They don't like people to have the same names a lot. How weird is it that there are two actresses named Peyton List? I mean, it's not like Amanda Smith or something. It's kind of a unique name. But there's two. Blonde one who's on the modern show Jessie, not to be confused with the Christina Applegate 90s show Jessie. And she's a bit younger, and then one with dark hair who was on the recently canceled show The Tomorrow People. But anyway, that's a total tangent. I was going to say that I really need to wrap this up. Unfortunately, it took like an additional 30 minutes or more because I ran out of card space and had to put the first part of the video on the computer, which has been the case again and again lately. And I've been borrowing my dad's memory card. Mine are like totally full. But I don't like to take all my stuff off the memory cards because I've had problems with hard drives in the past, and like I don't want to lose my photos. But anyway, so the computer is giving me such a hard time, and I've been running a scan for like 2 days, and the video wasn't loading, and it's been taking so much time. But so finally it loaded, and but I was going to say that I'm again backlogged on video posting, or rather still backlogged. I finally got through editing video 177 and got that up, but I still have to edit 178, and I'm like really delayed on recording this, and then I have to edit this and get that up. I really have to keep these videos shorter because the editing is killing me. So, and I'm like nearing the halfway point, and it should be so exciting, and I'm like exhausted, so I gotta do less talking. One more comment though, I don't know if you can still hear, I still have a little bit of a cold, but I think what is actually giving me a little trouble with my voice was that I was yelling again earlier. I was yelling because when I woke up I was mad that my dad had turned off the computer and I wasn't sure if the virus scan had finished, and I was working on it like all day. So I yelled for like 30 seconds or less, but I can hear it in my voice. So when I was doing the intro I was like, oh man. But have to learn yelling techniques if I'm going to yell more often, so I don't lose my voice. But yeah, it's a little scratchy, you can hear, but hopefully it's not negatively impact the song. Hopefully the song sounded alright and didn't sound too weird in my Pet Shop Boys voice. But anyway, so once again, my birds are singing now. Once again, that was my rendition of Always on My Mind, originally by Willie Nelson, who, by the way, the character Monk on the show Monk liked, and he guest starred on the show. But that was based on the remake by the Pet Shop Boys. So more concisely, that was my rendition of Always on My Mind, remade by the Pet Shop Boys, for day 179 of my Song a Day project. As always, thanks for listening, and please check back often. I'm Kristin Starr. Peace.